Hello everyone, class 7. I am Rashid Khan from Lakshmi Prasad Memorial Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. Class where we will have to study about the water, that is chapter number 16 given as, in which some of the portion is remain as unexplained. So we will have to explain about, we will study about that the remaining portion of this chapter. As we know that as I have earlier explained you about the depletion of water table, how this can be happen, it can be recapitulated by same time. First is depletion of water takes place, depletion of water table takes place by the means of different activities by ourselves, as well as it can be done for the many important activities as well. So here we will see that in case where there is a certain criteria takes place, in which first one is increasing populations. So what we can say, by increasing the population, a water table get depleted. How it happens? You know that each and every person that needed some amount of water for daily routine purposes, for their cleaning, washing, bathing, and where they can be stayed, that means there is a need of the shelters. So for making the buildings, there is a need of a lot of water that can be got depleted, or it can be losses amount of water more and more. So this can, and the overuse may also get influenced about that the losses of a water table or depletion of a water table as well. The second thing is, first one is what? Increasing population. Second one is, that is agricultural activities. Agricultural activities, how may it contributed to the depletion of water? This can also be contributed. How it happens? You know that in our India there is 60 to 65% of the people that is dependent on the agricultural or the agriculture. So we can say that there is a way on which the agricultural activities may take place by the means of most of the water. So we can say that here is the water as a precious form that can also be used for the irrigation, for the agricultural practices, or for at the time of needed for growing of crops. At that particular time there is a water needed, so that can be as much as amount of the water can be depleted or used. So there is another way by which the water can depleted by means of the agricultural activities. And in another word, we can say that the water table can also be get depleted by means of by means of what? Increases the industries. Why? Because when there is a industries increases, there will be the requirement of water for forming or building of the their buildings need to be constructed. So for their construction there is a need of a lot of water, and when there is a complete building takes place, complete building stand over there, then what will happen? There will be the a requirement or daily basis needed of the water can also lead to the depletion of water as well. We can say that in case of industrial, due to increasing the industries, so there is also the contribution of the depletion of water. And the next one is uneven distribution of water. We can say in our country there is a uneven distribution of the water can also help, or it can be also the reason for the water depletion, water table depletion. How it happens? Why? Because there is a uneven, some certain places on the earth that can receives rainfalls in such amount, there is a heavy, and somewhere is it is a very less, or might be no rains can occur. So that can also lead to the scarcity of the water, and this can lead to the depletion of water table as well. And we can say that the deforestation is another way by which the water table depletion takes place. How it happens? We know that the deforestation is a means in which the cutting of a plant on a very large scale. So in a particular area where there is a depletions or we can say felling of a tree on a large scale takes place, where what happen actually, there can be some certain criteria takes place. Why? Because the water holding capacity of the soil has very greater. If there is a cutting down of a large extent of a tree, so what will happen? The water holding capacity of the roots can be loosened, and due to which the water table cannot still make over. That means it cannot be have some amount of water that can lead it to the depletion of water as well. Water table can depletion may cause due to the deforestation. Next one is global warming. Global warming is another cause through which the water table can depleted. Why? Because if there is a global warming causes, so there will be the extreme temperature rising, and due to the rising in the temperature, there will be the water drops or water resources got evaporated very rapidly, and due to which the water table got depleted. So these are the certain reason or the certain criteria by which the water table get depleted. Now here we have to discuss about the distribution of a water. How this distribution of a water takes place? We know that the water get distributed in whole country in our India. That can be a very rare. How it's happened? We know that somewhere in our country there is a lot of rains happen, but somewhere in our country too at the same time there is a lack of water. That means there is no rainfalls occur at all. So what will happen then? So there will be the criteria called, or there is a state or status in which there is some area or some areas that can receive very heavy or excessive rainfall. That are the eastern, southeastern areas, northeastern areas receives very heavy rainfalls, due to which there is some certain natural climatic taken, that means flood can cause due to the excessive rain. And in some area at the particular time there is no rainfalls happen, and in case of a desert there will be the drought takes place at the same time. So by the geographical representation or the geographical status of our country, there will be the some rains happen in some areas is a very excessive means, and in some area there is no rains at all. So there is the distribution of a water takes place that can contribute to the distribution of water in every sector. Not in every areas, in every level is not equal. So what will happen then if it is not distributed in all in the equal form? So there will be the some losses, and somewhere this can causes the damages as well. Here we have to discuss on the topic that is mismanagement of water. Mismanagement of water. So what should be the mismanagement? Mismanagement indicated that the water which is got used in our daily life, this could be might arranges or can be managed. The wastage of water, the losses of water, most of the water that can free floating or moving here and there, our wastage takes place in all the sectors. So that can be concluded, or that can be maintained by the some sectors of the government, that is a water supply management system, or this can be controlled by the some department of the government. It is harder to maintain the such criteria. So what will happen then if there is a leakage or somewhere the losses of water forms? What will happen then? If it is happens, so the resultant will be Here we can say mismanagement causes at different levels. Why? It can be happens by means of the water supply system. The water supply system. We can say that if there is a water supply system takes place, works in an improper form or in an improper way. So we can say how they can be supply system or supply department. We know that there is a most of a time the water get lost or water get depleted or might be water get leakage at somewhere in the very broader areas or very broader level. We know that in a pipe sewage somewhere and somewhere the water supply get leaked. At these particular type of wasting of water takes place in our surroundings. So what will happen then? It is the duty of the water management system or the water system department has to repair, has to manage these loss of water. Most of the water you can see through the piping system get lost every day in a very larger extent. Wherever the water supply takes place, there is a loss of a water get spilled or might be the submerges here and there. It can be flowed in all the street and somewhere at the where the garbages takes place, somewhere in case of a sewage system that got mixes with the water, and that can be make it very improper for the daily uses. So these are the different type of symptoms or symbols that can be very important for what? For managing, for the management system, that is water system department has to recover it and has to manage. Sometimes some dirty water can mixes with the water and that can make it impure for the daily uses. So we will have to very careful about such type of a mismanagement system. So there is a mismanagement of water takes place by the means of a water supply departments. Why? Because it could not be get seriously at the time of a leakage, at the time of a water supplies, at the time of a damages caused at the time of a leakage somewhere, as the department could not be managed. So this could be managed in all the sectors. That could be care about, that can be care by the means of departments. There is some certain criteria to be further asked. So here we have to move on the next one, that is what actually this can be at individual level. At individual level, what happened then? How it happens? The mismanagement can cause due to the individual level. We know that there is a lot of activities that can run by the water supply system, like cleaning the clothes, by bathing, by shaving, by cleaning in case of our houses, by cleaning the toilets, by using different brushing teeth. So there are the lot of things that has to be come in existence or that can be caused by the water supply system. So the water supply system get corrected by means of the proper uses. If it is not used in a proper way, there is a loss of water. There is a lot of water get lost day by day in our daily life activities. In our routine, daily routine, there is a many loss of water happen in case of bathing, cleaning the clothes, in case of brushing the teeth by means of bathing. There is a number of uses of water takes place, and through which there is a water get lost every day. The most important criteria to be taken as leakage caused or leakaging caused in a water supply system. So you should have to manage at your own level. Why? Because you are as an individual, if can manage the water, so if it is individual level can manage, it can be managed in a very large extent. So we'll have to manage in these type of water losses, or the loss of water happen by means of the different houses and at the personal basis. Next one is, we will talk about the mismanagement of rainwater. What can causes in case? You know that in their cities there is a lot of water get collected into the dam, reservoir, or where there it can be collected in a large areas. It can be collected for the or is stored for the further use of the using for the different purposes, as well as for drinking, for the other purposes, and as well as for the drinking as well. So we can say that the water, the most important sources of the water that can be recharged under groundwater, is it what? Is it actually the rainwater? So the rainwater could be managed very carefully. Why? Because if it is mismanaged, so there is a lot of dust, dirt and floating other material that can be make it improper or impure. So the purest form of water can be stored in such a place that where it can be used furtherly. So for that we can say that if there is a dirt, dust or some other polluted material when get mixed to the water, then it could not be stored up properly and it could not be get further used or in our daily life. So you know that there is a dam, reservoir or some of the collections deposition of water takes place at a particular places that can be furtherly used for the other purposes than that of the daily uses as well. So there is, if this is another mismanagement of the water or rainwater, so it could has to be corrected. So this is all about that the topic we will discuss to the next day.